30,000 people are vaccinated in the Sultanate within the COVID-19 immunization campaign. And the Royal Oman Police wins the Best Awareness Film Award in combating cybercrimes. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq has sent a cable of condolences to Her Excellency Samia Hassan, Vice President of Tanzania, on the death of President Dr. John Magufuli. The National Defense College concluded the 8th annual seminar on strategic issues, which came this year under the theme Renewed Renaissance Towards Renewable Capacity Building. The seminar focused on the national economy in the future, its competitiveness, enablers, and analysis studies on economic enablers. The seminar also highlighted topics on achieving sustainable development through local management and governorates, the analysis of financial and economic policies and mechanisms for economic revitalization. Speakers discussed Oman Vision 2040, its challenges, and the current economic situation. The event was organized under the auspices of His Excellency Dr. Said bin Mohammed al-Saqri, Minister of Economy. Across the Sultanate, over 90,000 people have been immunized. 30,000 have been given 2 doses, while 60,000 had their first dose. This was stated by His Excellency Dr. Mohammed bin Saif al-Hosni, Under Secretary of the Ministry of Health for Health Affairs, to the Sultanate of Oman Television through our college reporter Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubai. Here's the whole statement.
The immunization strategy of the Ministry of Health is aimed at immunizing the high-risk groups and healthcare workers. So far, we've been able to immunize 91,000 individuals. Nearly 30,000 have had 2 doses and 60,000 have had a single dose. A single dose has shown to be very effective elsewhere. What we're trying to do is to prevent the high-risk groups from going to ICUs, being admitted to ICUs, and God forbid, going for death. What we've done so far is that we've directed individuals who are 65 years of age with diabetes, and we've directed we've targeted the individuals who have chronic renal disease requiring renal dialysis, and those individuals who have chronic lung disease, being chronic asthma or cystic fibrosis or other respiratory diseases that are chronic, and healthcare workers. We've managed to immunize nearly 57% of the target group. We've had a lot of success with the group that is 65 of age and above. We've been able to immunize nearly 95% of those, in addition to the individuals who have other risk factors, like the renal failure, as I mentioned earlier, and those with chronic lung disease. The numbers have shown clearly that we had a significant reduction in that age group, 65 and above, significant reduction in ICU admissions and in deaths. What I'm calling upon is the second age group, which is 60 to 65 years of age, to come forward and get the immunization, get the vaccine, because we've had only 35% of that age group which have had the vaccine so far. And there is no time to waste. Please go ahead and get your shot of immunization of any vaccine, any kind of vaccine, because it has shown without doubt that it really prevents ICU admissions and prevents deaths. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
The Ministry of Health announced that the total number of COVID-19 cases registered in the Sultanate reached 149,135, while the number of deaths reached 1,620. The total recovered cases reached 137,871. The ministry indicated that the total number of inpatients reached 311, out of which 88 are in intensive care units. Primary courts in the governorates of North al-Batina, Dhofar, and Buraymi convicted 5 people of violating the decisions of the Supreme Committee on COVID-19, which include violating institutional quarantine procedures, going to the beach during the ban period, and gathering in public. The courts sentenced the violators to imprisonment for a period that extends to 3 months and a fine of 300 Omani riyals. The Sultanate of Oman, represented by the Royal Oman Police, won the Best Awareness Film Award in combating cybercrimes category as part of the competition organized by the Secretariat General for Arab Ministers of Interior. The competition aimed at promoting the citizens' awareness of certain crimes such as extremism, terrorism, drugs, and cybercrimes. The Omani awareness film raises issues of scams, protective sensitive data, hacking, and the importance of cybersecurity awareness among citizens and residents. A package of facilities was launched by the Public Authority for Industrial Estates, Madain. The move aims to support investment environment in industrial cities. It targets new investors at industrial cities and to limit the economic impacts of coronavirus pandemic on industrial estates, including Buraymi Industrial City. The works are continuing to complete the one-stop service station's Masar, which is expected to be open next May. It will be a new support and qualitative step for investment environment. The facilities also includes exemption from paying rent fees for 2 years and 50% reduction in the rent for the next 3 years. After 3 days of workshops, the Media Forum for Special Education Schools ended its activities amid wide participation from media coordinators at these schools, at the Educational Directorate General in various governorates of the Sultanate. The event was organized by the Ministry of Education, represented in the Directorate General of Special Education and Continued Learning. The forum aimed to develop the skills of students interested in media works, such as preparing and presenting radio and TV programs and managing social media accounts. Still to come on News Bulletin. A famous studio in Minnesota in the US released a one-shot take drone video which became viral over the internet. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Tanzania President John Magufuli, a prominent COVID-19 skeptic in Africa whose populist rule often casts his East African country in a harsh international spotlight, has died. He was 61 years old. Magufuli's death was announced today by Vice President Samia Suluhu, who said the president died of heart failure. Magufuli had not been seen in public since the end of February, and top government officials had denied that he was in ill health, even as rumors swirled online that he was sick and possibly incapacitated from illness. Magufuli was one of Africa's most prominent deniers of COVID-19. He had said last year that Tanzania had eradicated the disease through 3 days of national prayer. America's top diplomat has pressed China to use its tremendous influence to convince North Korea to abandon its nuclear program, calling it a source of instability and danger. Secretary of State Antony Blinken spoke after security talks in Seoul hours after North Korea said it will ignore a U.S. offer to resume negotiations because of the hostile policy. The talks, which also involved Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and South Korean officials, came as President Joe Biden pushes to restore America's alliances in Asia in the face of challenges from China and North Korea. Blinken said Beijing has a critical role to persuade North Korea to denuclearize because most of the North's external trade goes through China.
A shared interest.
United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres appointed veteran French diplomat Jean-Arnaud Law as his personal envoy on Afghanistan and regional issues. The appointment comes a day before Russia, China, and the United States, Pakistan, a delegation of top Afghan officials and opposition leaders and Taliban negotiators meet in Moscow in an attempt to kickstart deadlocked peace talks. U.S. Special Envoy on Afghanistan has been trying to drum up support for a written proposal that includes an interim government and ceasefire, as U.S. President Joe Biden reviews plans for Afghanistan ahead of May 1st troop withdrawal deadline agreed with Taliban by the Trump administration. The Moscow gathering will be followed by a meeting of regional players in the first week of April in Turkey. Raleigh Studios filmed and produced a video titled Right Up Our Alley, showing the viewpoint of a drone flying through a popular Minnesota bowling alley in one-shot take. More details in the following report.
A video showing the viewpoint of a drone flying through a popular Minnesota bowling alley has gone viral on the internet. The nearly minute-and-a-half-long video, titled Right Up Our Alley, filmed and produced by Raleigh Studios, begins outside where the drone swoops in from across the street and through the doors of Bryant Lake Bowl in Minneapolis. From there, the drone flies in and around bowlers in the lanes, going into the back compartment where the bowling pins are swept up and set up and all around, all in one continuously shot take.
Yeah, I think there's some skepticism there of it being a true one take. It is a true one take. There's no CGI. You know, that was kind of interesting, but also the positive nature of it, of people seeing the skill that it takes and the unique ability to like combine the skill of an amazing pilot, the technology of the drone, and the story that actually can be told through a one take.
The studio said it took about 10 to 12 attempts over about 2 hours before they had the perfect take. Due to the typical buzzing sound produced by a drone, the team added audio to the video in post-production. Among the sounds are the balls rolling and striking pins, conversations among bowlers that include references to the Big Lebowski film that largely take place in a bowling alley, glasses clinking at a table, and more. Jay Christensen, the film's aerial director of photography, said he visited the bowling alley the day before to scope out the scene and mentally prepare for his flight path. He has been flying drones since 2014, when he said the footage was terrible, but now the innovation continues to improve.
And now it's to the point where you're able to see a live view of what the drone sees, and it's really small and it can fit through these small spaces and really get to see the whole scene inside and out in one shot. And that really can be a great way to tell a story.
The two filmmakers said the goal was to remind people of local businesses like Bryant Lake Bowl that are the heart of communities and are in need of support as the pandemic and its accompanying public health measures ease, allowing people to return to restaurants and bowling alleys.
This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's news bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sends a cable of condolences to Her Excellency the Vice President of Tanzania on the death of President Dr. John Magufuli. The National Defense College concludes the annual seminar on strategic issues. Over 90,000 people are vaccinated in the Sultanate within the COVID-19 immunization campaign. And the Royal Oman Police wins the Best Awareness Film Award in combating cybercrimes. And with the end of tonight's news bulletin, we would like to remind you to keep following the precautionary measures of wearing masks, washing hands, and keeping physical distance from each other. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, thank you for watching. Stay safe.